Hello everyone, it's Pencil Candy here, back with another planner video. And today I thought it'd be very fun to compile a list of tips and tricks that I've learned throughout my journey of using a planner. I'm actually quite new to the planner scene, only been using any sort of planning / daily journaling for about 1.5 years, which is really little, but I've learned a lot since I started, and here's just a bunch of tips and tricks that I found out either by myself or from the online planner community, which is so helpful and vibrant, and I love it. But okay, hope these tips are of use to you because they were definitely very helpful to me. Okay, without further ado, let's get started with the first planner, a Jibun Techo. Any tips that I share with regards to the Jibun Techo and this book, which is a system note monthly log, are applicable to any general weekly based planning or just any planning system. Some of them are unique to these two books, but you can easily replicate the tips in any other form of planning. So let's just go into the first one. In the Jibun Techo, it would be that I use the monthly log to track things. Of course, habit trackers are super popular and super well known in basically the bullet journal and planner communities. But I would just like to point out that with a tracker like this that is on a monthly log, the Jibun Techo is a horizontal one, but most come in the vertical format. But monthly log trackers, they don't have to just be habits. They can just be anything that you do on a semi-regular basis that you might want to keep track of. For example, here's a list of things that I'm currently tracking. As you can see, cooking and groceries are not necessarily habits that I want to incorporate as a daily to-do thing, because cooking, I actually do meal prep, so I don't expect to cook every day or anything, and groceries the same. I buy once and then it lasts me a few days, but I just want to see how often I do these activities. And of course, not limited to just the kind of habits you list down, you can also use this kind of month at a glance view to really put down any other thing that you might want to do, you might want to keep track of and remember. Because, okay, an example would be, I track my period. Let's be real, the planner community is predominantly female, and I think, this tip is quite applicable. Tracking the period is quite helpful, actually. It helped me just kind of keep track of the monthly cycle and whatnot. And what else did I track? Oh, I got a mild ear infection in December last year, and I just tracked that. I just wrote down the days when I still felt it, it's not perfectly healed yet. And I track when I watered my plants, which is a succulent, which I don't ever water, but it's okay. And I track when I change the sheets. So these things they're not habits whatsoever, but it's just nice to just have them on a monthly view that you can see when I did things and when I didn't. And I find that such tracking on a linear monthly view as opposed to a kind of grid monthly view, which is pretty typical, I find that this is way easier for you to identify when you did things, which is ideal for tracking. Whereas if you try to use this type of view as a tracking device, I find that never works out for me, because I actually have to locate the day, and then I look up, oh, it's a Saturday. This is way messier. Okay, so first tip, this type of monthly views, not just for habit tracking, but for everything that you might want to keep track of. Not just habits, anything. Yeah. Do not limit yourself to what this type of monthly view can do, because they are very, very helpful. It's very good to look back at a month and see what you did and all that. Okay, so the next tip for a Jibun Techo user or any kind of user of a planner with a timeline. I use the timeline not to plan activities like in advance, but to record down what I was doing in that time. And it may sound like totally useless. Like, why would you want a record of your day like in a timeline format? Like, shouldn't you be using timelines to plan activities? Like, that is pretty obviously the intended use of a timeline, right? But no, I find that after I incorporated this kind of daily reflection, not really, it's just every time I finish doing something, I will write down its block of time and what I do it for and some kind of details related to it. For example, this just means I ate, and I use a color coding for this green color for when I'm not at home, so either out or at school or whatever. And I shade it to say that I'm sleeping. And I'm not planning any of this. I do this after the fact. After the thing happens, I write it down here. And I have been doing it since the Untitled started. So that's like almost 3 months of just tracking daily what I've been doing. And you might think, like, why would you do that? Okay, first of all, it seemed very useless when I first started, but once I, got into the habit of doing this all the time, it made me like a lot more aware of what I was doing, what I was spending my time on. Because before this, and admittedly for a few days in the tracked time, I would just spend my time like watching YouTube and procrastinating and just lying around the house, like doing nothing concrete. And in those stretches of time, I find that I'm not even aware of what I'm doing because I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything of note. I'm just watching YouTube and other like low mental exertion activities. And in those times, it just feels like the time flies by without me being aware of it. And I felt very bad. Like, I always feel super bad when that happens. So once I have this in place, and I am, kind of held responsible to fill up every day in a timeline format, I've become a lot more aware of what I was spending every hour of my time on. Like, I physically wouldn't want to do things like this in a goddamn planner. Look at it. So how long is that? Like 2 hours? I don't know what I did because I wasn't aware of what I was doing. See, this is the thing I'm talking about. This type of procrastinating activity I really want to eliminate, and doing this kind of tracking really helps me be motivated to stop this type of thing. So this tip is more of a general attitude towards life thing, where you just want to be aware of what you're doing, at least semi-aware at most of your waking hours. Yeah, and I think kind of looking back on your day instead of using a timeline to plan forward really helps you get into a habit of just kind of evaluating what you're doing and seeing whether it's productive at any point in time. So yeah, that's the second tip. It's just reflecting on every day and try to record down hourly on a timeline basis what you did. Okay, so the third tip is more practical. With any planner, but especially the Untitled, because it already comes with the accessory that allows you to do that, you can slot, this is the pencil board that it comes in. It has a rubber band on the pencil board. So it's sort of like this. And I'm pretty sure their original intent is that you put the pencil board on the page that you're supposed to be flipping to, or on the week, and then you kind of close it like that so that your book stays closed, and whenever you use it, you kind of open it up so you can flip through the pages. Well, I find that if you put the pencil board at the back pocket and then wrap the band around all of the pages that you're not using, you can flip through the current week like in an instant. You don't need no bookmarks. It just falls out. So that just saves a lot of time, a lot of energy. And of course, BuJo is like right there for you to do it. But any other planner, just take a band, wrap it around the pages that you're not using. Like for instance, weeks, right? For example, I want to be able to flip to this page at an instant. Just take any rubber band. This is a very, very crappy one. Just wrap it around all of the other pages to the back cover, and bam, you'll open it instantly. So it's kind of, oh my gosh, okay. Alright, so yeah, it's a very practical tip that saves a lot of time. It just saves a few seconds every time you open your planner, which leads to a huge amount of time, energy saved overall. Yeah, so I found that that was one of the most helpful things, the modifications I ever did to any planner. Okay, so fourth tip with regards to a BuJo or any other planner is just to create a customized little timetable and put it outside the planner. So you can stick it on there, you can put it at the front, at the back, anywhere, just put it on the outside of the planner. I used to always put any timetables inside the planner, whether it be one of the pages or stuck inside. But I find that if you put it outside, bam, you can instantly refer to it. It's a lot more convenient. So that's tip number 4. All right, then let's move on to, move past the BuJo, and I'll show you these other 2 little booklets. And the first one is this monthly view note diary thing. Okay, let me just show you a blank page. This is how it looks like. It first comes with a conventional monthly view layout, and then it comes with this kind of monthly log. It's very similar to how the bullet journal system does it, but it has 4 columns. And my 5th tip is that you can replicate this system by not just incorporating, the the monthly log, but also different categories. So you can easily categorize your life into 4 different areas, and it's very helpful because you can refer to it on a single day. For example, 6 January 2019, okay, whatever, 6 Jan, Sunday, you want to see what you have on it. You can see all 4 different categories if you have any activities. So let me show you an example. So for my purposes, I've divided the columns into school, art as in a subject that I take in school, art, and this is another separate section of school. Yeah, they're all school related, yeah. But this is general homework, this is art homework, and this is like the extracurricular activity. So I write down things related to only that category, and I find that it makes me like a lot more organized when it comes to what I'm doing and what tasks are coming up. So that will be the 5th tip. Categorize your monthly logs for forward planning. It's a lot clearer than if you just had no categories and just try to list down the things that you have to do. Yeah, just categorize it. I think it would be helpful for example of a category would be home, personal, work, and socializing. Like just any kind of combination you want, just categorize and see how that changes the way you plan. Okay, and then the 6th tip is on my bullet journal. The bullet journal is, of course, like a lot of people know about it. You kind of just write down the date and then write down a bunch of tasks for that day, right? So this is the standard bullet journal system that I have incorporated as well. It's a very tiny mini version, but you get the idea. But the 6th tip is to keep a sticky note, and in that sticky note write down the list of things that are upcoming. So you might not want to keep writing down a task if you know you're gonna want to do it later on, but it's like in the horizon of your task list. What I mean is that, for example, you have a project that is due in a week, and you know that you have more urgent tasks. Then just write down the priorities for every day until until the next week project becomes a priority. So instead of like writing down huge list every single day and just failing to accomplish it and just migrate, everything is a migrate. Instead of doing that, I recommend you just use a piece of paper, a sticky note, because it's removable. Write down all of the stuff that you need to get done, like in a semi-long-term basis, and just refer to that to craft your daily priority list. Yeah, instead of overwhelming yourself with a lot of things on a daily basis, just so each day you only have like 4 or 5 things. And it's nice because once you finish a page, for example, and it's still relevant, and if like tasks on this page are still relevant, just transfer to another page. It's a sticky note. You can move where it is. So yeah, that would be my 6th tip. Use a sticky note for a master task list for a bullet journal or any planner. Just cut down on daily priorities by by not listing everything you have to do in a semi-regular basis. Yeah. Okay, then we'll move on to the last kind of thing that I'm gonna give tips on, which is my Hobonichi weeks. This applies to any sort of more decorative memory keeping, planning, or journaling, as would be more appropriate. And side note, you can see this is why you need the Hobonichi weeks cover. This is why you get the goddamn cover. Oh my god. This is nasty, by the way. Okay, I'm just gonna ignore it. So, what's the tip here? Decorating, like, if you're busy, decorating and making your planner or journal look nice is very stressful. Okay, so my tips are here are like for me kind of to relieve that stress. Like, I don't want to feel pressured or feel like it's difficult to kind of record down things and make it look nice and draw little doodles. For example, this is my current week. So, and I've been able to keep it up even though I'm super busy. These are the tips that help me with that. First, designate a color scheme for every spread. If you use a weekly like memory keeper, then you gotta do it weekly memory keeper, like the weeks, week to spread view. Goodness. Okay, week to spread view, you do it every week. If you have a daily planner, like if you have the Hobonichi and you're using it, the Hobonichi Techo, and you're trying to use it as a memory keeper, you have to do it on a daily basis. But the idea is that you pick a color scheme and you stick with that for the whole spread. It will make the spread look a lot more aesthetically pleasing, as I find. So this is like pink and that green. This one is green and dark green, brown and green and blue, red and light green, purple and yellow, blue and pink. So you just identify the color scheme that you want to go with, and then choose only the stickers and washi tape that are relevant to that color scheme. So it just cuts down a lot of time trying to deliberate with like what decoration you should use. And okay, so that would be tip number 1 for how to make decorating easier. Use a color scheme. Tip number 2 is, once you have your color scheme, pick out the stationery that will be relevant for you regarding to that, with regards to that color scheme. For example, this is the current one, pink and blue, right? Pink and blue is the color scheme that I'm going for. So I picked out the pens and markers that will be relevant to that color scheme, and then I put them in a separate compartment. Of course, this little pen holder like I rotate the pens that are in it every week as I switch color schemes, if that makes sense. So instead of scrambling around trying to see if this pen fits and this pen doesn't work with the color scheme, or maybe I should use that stationery. So that kind of deliberation takes a lot of time and energy. So why not just decide beforehand, pick like 4 or 5 pieces of stationery that fit in your color scheme already, put them in a separate compartment, and you can just, like, it makes decorating on a daily basis so easy, because everything is already, like, is there for you. The materials are there. You don't have to like select your stationery again. So that's the second tip. Pre-select your stationery, which I do on how to say oh my god, I'm flustered. Okay, pre-select your stationery based on the color scheme. Yeah, that's the second tip. And the third one, which you might already can be able to see from this spread here, that I have already decorated it with stickers / washi. I've pre-decorated it, and then all I have to do throughout the week is to fill in the things that I want to remember. Yeah, memory keeping. So if you can look at all my previous spreads, you will notice that there are drawings done in pen, and there are stickers in washi. Right. I would just like to say that all of the stickers in washi I put in beforehand, so I don't have to dig through my huge collection of the stickers and washi tape, just so that I can, continue decorating. I decorate beforehand, and I stash all the stationery, all the stickers and washi away. It's out of the question. All I have to work with are a bunch of pre-selected pens that I can draw on. So it's so helpful, like it's crazy helpful to pre-decorate every spread, and then just leave minimal work for you throughout the busy week to actually fill it up. Yeah, that is my third tip. Yeah, it was the third one. Okay, the last one is not really something related to how you can make your life easier with the weeks, but see these charms that I've put at the end? They're not just there for decoration, even though they look super cute. They are there for me to be able to hold on to the goddamn elusive thin little bookmark easier. Yeah, that's the tip. Make your life easy. If you find yourself trying to grab onto the thin little bookmark and you find that, it's too light and it's just not easy, just put something at the end. See, you can grab onto it super fast. There we go. Oh, and you can use the end pages to kind of experiment with ways you can write as well. And this is where I decide my color scheme from. I just draw a bunch of colors in the grids, right? And then I kind of cover with my finger and decide on the color scheme. Like the new week's color scheme, this one, it was decided this way. So I covered these colors, right? Okay, these colors. So this is my color scheme. Yeah, you can just do the same and see what you like and what you don't like, and with this kind of thing you can decide a color scheme super fast. And this, of course, you can reference back to how you might want to write things, because typography is a huge part in making your spread look nice, and it's very easy as well. It's just a nice skill to have, So that sums up my tips for the weeks. Time for a little update. These are not tips anymore. Okay, I'm moving on to a very short little update on my 3-year diary, which is in this one, and my Hobonichi daily art journal, which totally didn't work out. I'm just gonna kind of say a few words about that. But here's my art journal. I started off. I didn't even start off strong. It's kind of shit. It's kind of very shitty. Yeah. Okay. If you see that I do lettering or calligraphy in any other way, it means that I was too lazy to draw. But hey, it still looks nice. Alright. So, yeah. Okay, I must say that even though I really didn't keep up with this kind of daily drawing task, it helped me kind of get out of my comfort zone, because I know that everything in this book is going to be subpar quality. So I just use the page every day to do something new. So I guess that's a little tip for artists who want to step out of their comfort zone. Just get a daily planner or a notebook that you draw in daily and just make it a mission to do something you've never done before every day in that book. Yeah. For example, I've never done this type of thing where I draw in the silhouette of the thing in marker and then detailed it in pen. Yeah, that's something new. Yeah, anyway, this not very sustainable, but still fun, I guess. Okay, the 3-year diary, I have actually been keeping up with it every day. I write some stupid thing. Oh, what was that? Okay, yeah, it's not contemplative, emotional, and deep. It's just a reflection on the day. Sometimes I feel like shit and I would just swear in it. Yeah, that's an update. Okay, hope you enjoyed the actual tips, practical and useful as they were to me, and tell me about how you feel about them and whether or not you might want to incorporate it into your own planning life, and just any questions, just leave it down in the comments, okay? Bye.